Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Kerbal Space Program! And when we last left things off, we had a foursome of ships heading out to DUNA. In the meantime, since this is like such a long trip, it's still going to be days and days and days before it got there, I launched a few other satellites, did some things like that, completed some contracts for some money and whatnot. And it also occurred to me that it's possible that our space station stages, specifically the beta one, which is supposed to have a lot of fuel, may actually use a fair bit of it trying to establish its orbit and stuff like that. So I've actually gone ahead and launched a fifth ship to DUNA, the DUNA Explorer Refueler, which is basically just another giant fuel tank on the way. But I made sure that its initial stages did a better job of launching so that it's got a lot more fuel left in the tank, just to make sure in case we run out. Hopefully everything is fine. I'm a little concerned. I've been looking at things. My lander has about a total of 1,300 Delta V available to it in its final stage, so I'm a little bit concerned that there's a possibility that it may not actually be able to leave the surface of DUNA. It's going to depend very much on how much it's going to have to retro burn to land. But we can see here I've got a variety of timers set. Hell, I've still got over 2 days before the optimal transfer window to DUNA, which is a bit less than good. That is the wrong alarm, I've just realized here, for the DUNA Explorer. It's going to give me an alarm for Sphere of Influence change, which is fine, except I wanted this one to be the DUNA one. I realized that's probably when it leaves the Sphere of Influence of Kerbin. So we're just going to go ahead and fast forward until that, and then I'll set another one up. I could have done the same thing as these guys, where I just set a bunch of maneuvers when we're, I don't know, about 75% of the way there. We'll do some little adjustment maneuvers and make sure that everything is cool and sexy. Interesting, the time warp is auto-dropping. Oh, because this is my Kerbin to DUNA window. Bam! Technically, you know, now would be the time to launch optimally, but I'm sure it's fine. Anyway, let's go back up to more. And you know what? I'll go all the way up, and it'll stop me on this one. So again, this is when this refueler is leaving the sphere of influence of Kerbin. That, in fact, 3 minutes before. There we go. Let's I guess jump the ship. So I'll just show you this one, this refueler. Not much to talk about, and really all I'm going to do here is set another alarm. Boop. Check that out. Got this. It's got its fuel. Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of stages, some destroyed, a bunch of stuff recovered from various satellite launches, and then this launch over here. Maybe we can kill this rotation so it's not looking so crazy. There we go. All right. So this is us, and we are 2 minutes away from the Kerbin escape. So I'm going to go ahead and warp. I hear recommendations, especially when it's really far away, to not time warp through a sphere of influence change. We still had 2 minutes left. What the hell? Did we not? Because apparently it can sort of muck up your path. There we go. I'm just going to bring it down to 1. And since this is such a long distance away, any little perturbation in our path is going to have some pretty dramatic impacts on what happens. So let me actually zoom way out over here. Boop. Take a look at set as target, but also focus view. And see where we are here. No, good. Okay. We did actually, because I think I'd beeline this. I put my engine efficiency down to like 5% and did like one little tick of shift to try to optimize my path over here. And I think I left it at 250,000 kilometers, and now it's just off. But I've even found, if we do this, if I just sort of like turn. So I was facing retrograde, and if I turn here, you'll see just the shift of center of mass here while I'm doing my rotation can affect where we might end up, which is so weird. And it actually doesn't make any sense, but it's because of the way that it's simulated in the game. But just goes to show you the tiniest little nudge. And like all I did is do a 180 turn here, without any thrusters or anything like that, just reaction wheels. Anyway, that's my refueling stage. I want to add an alarm here again. Not this one. I can use the quick add. Just let me know before we're going to do another sphere of influence change. And yeah, it's going to be quite late. We're going to arrive Alpha, Delta, Gamma, Beta. So my Beta, which is the core of my space station, actually. This is the the central part of my space station here is going to be the last thing to arrive. So I clearly did a relatively poor path on beta when you compare that alpha one. The very first one I launched there was certainly the best, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I suppose I can just time warp a whole bunch at this point. Nothing else to do. Forgot to put batteries on this thing too. It's got is the solar panel, so it's got a battery electric charge capacity of 10. So the second it goes into the shadow of a planet, it just dies right away, which is really less than good. It's going to make it very, very important. Did I not put any RCS on the back here? There was supposed to be some RCS back here. I probably put it on like the wrong stage or something like that. Ooh, that's going to make this really hard to steer. Wow, there's so many things wrong with this stage. All right, 100,000 times warp. We're just going to wait until we get the alarm for the Explorer Alpha. Actually, I suppose I could switch to it now. Since we know it's going to be the thing, let's save ourselves maybe a little bit of weirdness here by switching to the Alpha stage right away. And I have to sneeze. Excuse me. You know why? It's because I was staring into the sun. And that can make you sneeze. Alpha. On escape trajectory out of the sun. Is it really? Escape trajectory out of the sun? That's kind of crazy. Fly. So, here is our alpha stage. It's on the way. Alright, this is the one with the broken solar panel. It's just so weird and annoying. Kill rot, not that it matters because we're going to be time warping. And really kick up the speed. Because we're still 108 days out. 10,000 times. 100,000 times. We could be running lots of missions at this point, but I don't know. I don't think there's any reason to worry about it. I suppose the worst case scenario is we might get some stuff that expires on us. So I'm just going to hands off here. It should do a pretty good job of slowing down our time warp as we get close. Hopefully it won't overshoot anything. Probably not. I suppose anytime I want, I can always hit X and it just cancels all the time warping. So this is just a mid-flight adjustment maneuver that I'd planned. I mean, I don't have to do it here. I can do it whenever I want, because it's not like the maneuver itself isn't anything that I'd organized. It's just I wanted to make sure to take a moment and do any sort of adjustment we might need. Yeah, this is the one sketchiest stage. I'm just hoping it's got enough delta V to get into an orbit. We'll see how it goes. Okay, we can close this and delete it. This is the one we're hoping to get into a polar orbit. Let me get rid of the maneuver entirely. There's DUNA over there, so we want to focus view, and we'll get a glance at what's going on. So, we are swinging along the bottom here, mostly polar. We certainly could have planned things to end up a little bit closer, but this isn't bad, because we're going to want to be, I think with our scanners, we want to be 250K instead of 800K. So we'll have to drop this at some point, but it's really far from the end of the world. I could burn where I am, but I don't think it would be very efficient in any way whatsoever. I think we're going to be perfectly fine if we do this. And just pull in. Good stuff. And we want to drop that to about 250,000. Yeah, which will invert the periapsis, which is fine. I suppose what I could do, instead of burning all the way down, I was going to say, is make inclination changes when we're further out. But overall, I don't think it's going to use a lot of delta V for the inclination change. Still, yeah, why don't we? We can afford to do that. You know what? I'll just circularize. Just so that it doesn't look too crazy. And then, there we go. And then I'll do the inclination change. Because I think the further out you are when you do your inclination change, the less fuel it gets. And then when we come right back around here, we'll keep doing the retro. Because that'll be exactly equivalent. It probably doesn't make much of a difference one way or another. So this will be 1200 delta V to get in a roughly circular orbit. It'll leave us with 500 and change, which hopefully will be enough to continue to drop our orbit at that point. I wonder if it would be more efficient. Actually, I bet you it would be. If all we did is burn as little as possible, that's probably very true. Hang on, let me counter this. Okay. Well, overall, it actually doesn't keep using much fuel. But I was going to say, if I leave it like this, and then at this apoapsis, I bring down this other orbit. That will use a lot less fuel. Instead of bringing this down to 250k, if I leave it where it is, bring this one down to 250k, it'll use a lot less burn there, and then from here, we can bring it down. It'll be a lower periapsis, which I think will increase the efficiency of everything. No, I guess it probably doesn't make a difference one way or another, does it? Alright, let's just... Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It's not going to make us or break us either way. So let's do that. I mean, if I did do... No, because it would do that. Of course it would. You know what I need? I need my maneuver node editor so that I can get rid of that. Okay, I'd mostly gotten rid of it, but let's zero that out properly. Okay. I like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a maneuver alarm for this. So that's going to be in 14 days. No, that's going to be in 59 days, which I'm totally okay with. All right, good. The next thing we'll have to do is explore a delta, make sure that it doesn't need any sort of adjustment going on. I guess rather than going back to the space center, I can just fast forward at this point, all the way up. And down. We'll get our alarm, we'll switch to delta, check to see if it needs any adjustments. Alpha didn't, we just planned the next maneuver, and that's totally okay. And we'll get the switch right now. Jump to ship and restore maneuver node. I don't even know what that button does. Close alarm. Can I science? Whoa, where am I? Oh, I'm sciencing around the sun. Yeah. Yes. Okay, let's do that. Kill off rotation. Please and thank you. Actually, just because I don't know if that keeps going, let's use the SAS. Crew report. Stare up at space, and to the left at space, and to the right, and slowly realize pretty much everywhere you look is space. Fantastic. Let's transmit that. We have tons of battery power, tons of solar power, so we're okay. We'll do the material study. And keep it. We're going to make sure to... Oh, I didn't... Ooh. Maybe I shouldn't have transmitted the crew report, because I could convert it into data when I dock. I'm actually not sure if that's true. We'll keep everything. Temperature scan. And an EVA report. Feel kind of small right now. I hope you know where you're going. Keep the data. Board. Because what we're going to do is we're going to make sure to ship this into our science bay. And if it counts as valid science... Oh! Our science bay is going to be in orbit of... Our science bay is going to be in orbit of DUNA. And this is science from around the sun. So I actually don't think the science bay can process it. Well, I guess there's no harm in transferring everything to our station once we establish it, and then figure out the rest. But yeah, this stage here, I do properly have a swivel engine here, right? Yeah, okay. So I think it's got... we don't get our stats here because this is not a decoupler. It's a docking port instead. So we don't get our stage stats. But it should have plenty of thrust-to-weight ratio. The only question is, did I actually, like, put enough fuel and whatever in here? Maybe these should have been slightly bigger fuel tanks, and then maybe we should have gone with the trio engines instead. I don't know the Delta V we're going to need to take off DUNA, and a big question mark will be these 3 parachutes, which should be huge parachutes, which is important because the atmosphere of DUNA is a lot thinner. Will it... I have a maneuver planned here already? It's quite the maneuver. Will it be sufficient to slow us down without using an excessive amount of fuel? What is this maneuver I have planned? In my current path, this is this. Why would I need a maneuver? Which 433, but it's... Hold on. What the hell was my maneuver? Alright, I don't know. It must have just been remnants of something else. I guess because I put the maneuver in originally with, like, 0. It was a 000 maneuver. There was nothing to it. It was just a bookmark. But because we're slightly off that course, this tells you how much you need to sort of get back on that initial heading, which we don't care about. So right now, we're planned to come into the DUNA, we can actually take a look at it. That's great. Basically equatorially. Not quite. We'll be a little high. So I guess the thing to do might be to burn a little anti-normal. Look how much it changes on a rotation. We're not burning. We're not doing... Look how much it's changing. Okay. The moral of the story is, I guess, we're actually on a perfectly fine path. We're so far away that trying to maybe, like, tweak our inclination by a couple of degrees would be an exercise in frustration. So we will simply, I will simply add a new alarm for the sphere of influence change. I'm quite happy with that. Once we do get into the DUNA sphere of influence, then we'll actually be able to fully plan out this maneuver, because I don't know exactly where we'll end up here. So, I mean, effectively, the maneuver will be, I suppose, burning retrograde here. Whoop. And then trying to circularize. But I'm not going to want to do it right here, because I'll probably want to shift... Well, no, there's not that much point in doing that. So it'll be something like that. We'll burn about 800 at the very least, would get us into some kind of orbit. But, you know, we'll make an actual adjustment. Once we get into the sphere of influence, then we'll actually put up a maneuver node. So that's totally okay. So I guess all we have to do now is wait until Explorer Gamma. So we're just going to keep cycling through all of our ships here and making sure... Big question mark. Will the moon be in our way when you get there? I think the fact that it's not showing up on here means we're actually safe. I think I got a bunch of missions to do some stuff with Ike. I know that if we plan this properly, it actually wouldn't be any harder, I think, to get into orbit of Ike as opposed to DUNA itself, without really using any extra Delta V or anything either. And there we go. Kill the time warp. And switch over to Gamma. Just make sure it doesn't need any adjustments. God, I hope I have enough, like, fuel and everything. Alright, jump to ship. And delete this. And this can science as well. You know, keep data board. Can I start sciencing now? Why not? Review data? Fuck, I got days to go. EVA report while in space high above the sun. If I'd put more science actually on this, I would have been able to science a bunch of stuff around the sun and process it well before we got to DUNA. Holy crap, what a missed opportunity. However, I think I'm going to be doing similar missions to this when we go to other planets, so I'll still be able to do that. Okay, so stick that in the lab. Good. Now, lab, you can start research. I think it's very... Oh, no, we're transferring data right now, which I think is very energy costly. And this came back up. Keep data. So we've got 20 science available in here. So we can start research. Because we do have 2 scientists. Yeah, the rate is still very, very slow, but it's technically functional. Alright, well. That's a thing. Out of curiosity, if I were to... Who's in what? How do I find out who's in... Oh, crew report. That's some science. Right, because I already captured and transmitted it, so it's not worth any science if I just bring it back home. But I can put it in the lab module. Oh, shit, this is good. Okay. And then we actually don't need to keep this, so we can just do that. If I EVA here, can I get another EVA report? Keep it. Board? And then later on I can just transmit everything. Something like that. Alright, fine. Oh, right. This, I'm supposed to be checking if I need an adjustment maneuver. First of all, cancel that placeholder. That bookmark I had. Where's DUNA? DUNA is over. That's... Oh, yeah. All right. Focus you. We are coming in right... Whoa! Right over here. A little, you know, a little high in orbit. A little low there. Yeah, okay. You know what? We can probably afford to burn positive normal here. Again, we do get a bit of a shift of things. I don't think it's so crazy. I want to take the engine and bring its thrust down way low. So, and I could plan a maneuver for this, but if I watch here, there's the white path is really what I'm looking for. So if I tap shift, whoa. It raises this side, but it's not actually changing that in any way I want. You know what? I'll just come into orbit and then we'll fix it. Okay. So I'm still good there. Beta's supposed to get a normal burn soon. That was probably a much bigger path adjustment. We'll see. I'm probably doing everything at exactly the wrong place. But that's okay. Let's time warp until we've got to adjust beta. Oh, wait. Whoa. Okay. Things went a little crazy there. Sphere of influence change. So delta, refueler, gamma, and then beta and alpha are coming up. Okay, good. Actually, before I make the switch from one to the other, what I'm going to do is check the state of the science here. See how that works. So it'll bring me down, down. Again, there's nothing special about this maneuver timing, so it's not the end of the world. I'm sure I could have done this better. I'm sure I could have ended up properly on the equator of Mars with way, way less effort. God, I hope we have lots of delta V. Okay. Just wait over there. I'll check the science. No power. Are you kidding me? You don't have any power? Because we're dead onto the sun? How did that happen? Okay, I'm gonna do something crazy. Bob. Come over here. Alright, good. There you go. Don't rotate it too much or we'll have a hell of a hard time getting back in. Although, I suppose I could just switch control at this point. Boom. And kill rot. There we go, lots of power. Woo! Okay, happy we caught that. Turn that off. Just make sure to keep the stability on here. Well, we got some science, some things are being converted, and yeah, you can see we used just over one data, because we had, I think, 32 data. So we used one of it, and we've got 5 science waiting there. So this is going to be worth quite a bit of science. A lot of science. And this is the whole idea here with this DUNA mission, is to try to get as much as possible via this. Okay, so let's switch over to Beta. Beta is my giant fuel tank. And the root of what will be my starbase. Okay. You had an actual maneuver planned. That is true. Which you're coming up on soon. So let me focus on DUNA. And how does this maneuver actually look for us? Actually, this maneuver is going to be fantabulous. Very important maneuver. Unlike some of the others, this one is actually quite key. We don't need the ascent guidance. What we need to do is face our maneuver node. Also, this is a very, very mild burn. We're still an hour away. Still, I could probably burn in this direction right now and be okay. Oh, it's coming in a little high if I do that. Okay, so this is mostly, it's mostly normal. and a little bit prograde. Let's pull this one off like manually in a couple of steps here. Let me cancel this maneuver. Face directly normal. And derate my engine all the way down. Oh, it's already at 5.5. Good. And I'm going to give it 1 notch of shift here. Okay. Good. Okay, at full throttle, but at full 5%. Okay, there we go. Now, it looked like if I go prograde, it'll come closer? How does that make any sense? It's using very little fuel for these maneuvers now, and it is. Excellent. Well, we definitely need a little bit of that. Definitely need that, because we are very, very far out right now. This is a very tiny little burn. You can see my delta V is almost not changing at all. We're so far away that the smallest change makes a big difference. We're definitely still getting closer. You can see the target periapsis is dropping here. Also, it's doing wonders for our angle of approach as well. So I'm actually not going to be trying to necessarily get as close as possible to the plan. I think it's possible that a anti-radial burn here would actually do the best for that. But I was liking the fact that it was sort of still working on an inclination change. Let's cancel this. Let's go back to burning a bit normal. Okay, wow, that went a lot faster than expected. Now, I like that. We are basically coming in equatorially. More or less. I mean, I think the other side, once we actually create an orbit, will be a little bit... No, it'll be fine. We'll be okay. Just out of curiosity, where am I? I'm way over here. Let's do a little test maneuver. If I were to burn... anti-radial. Oh, I can't. I need... Sorry, I need the editor up here so I can actually see. That's actually radial. There we go. So this sort of thing will work. So I'm not actually going to do the maneuver. What I'm just going to do is turn myself to plus radial. Just because my ability to, like, properly follow a maneuver is a little bit sketchy. But if I just, you know, burn in the right direction, very, very low, and then watch it happen. I'm not trying to aim for a bar. I'm just trying to sort of sight things here. There we go. So at 5%, I'm burning with 1 notch of shift, throwing a couple more notches of shift over here. Using basically no delta V to make a massive, massive change in what we're doing. Yeah, I shouldn't have done any prograde or retrograde. I should have just gone right for the radial burn here. So basically what we're doing is we're burning sideways a little bit. And... trying to bring it in around 250. That's what I'm targeting, is 250 meters. Just because I'm pretty sure that's our... Well, it doesn't matter because I'm basing this entirely off of the surface scanner range, which is optimal at 250, which is not where we're doing this, but it's the number I've picked for our base. It's a little high. It's not a super low orbit. It might be better to put it in a lower orbit. It'll make it easier for when we lift off to actually reach where we're trying to get to. That would actually make some amount of sense. I suppose I still could. This is the foundation of my whole base here. Alright, let's do it. Let's bring it into 100. Okay, I'll leave it a little high because most likely when I do the retro burn, I'll end up dropping this periapsis a little bit just because I won't be burning exactly optimally. Okay, quick add. An alarm for our sphere of influence change. Good stuff. What I will do is... Right, we've got probably a pretty important maneuver on Alpha. So let's go ahead and time warp to the max. Vroom, vroom. And switch to Alpha. Alpha is our probe, which is going to be going into polar orbit of DUNA over here. Whoa. It's already crossed the sphere of influence change. I guess this maneuver is going to be a real maneuver. Oh, this is the one we adjusted earlier, of course. Derp. I guess what I can do is I can click on this, can't I, to switch to it? No? Why can't I? I suppose I can go back to mission control. Ah, I can click on it and say jump the ship right away. Nice. Okay. Just nice if I don't have to load the space center and then yada, yada, yada. Okay. We are indeed coming in on our maneuver. We are 3 minutes out. We don't have an estimated burn. It's going to be quite long, though. Although you can see here, again, assuming everything works out, I've got 9 minutes left of burn time on here. So, but that's going to be most of my... I should start this now. Oh, you know why? Because I have this engine derated. There we go. So now I have 44 seconds of burn time. I need to burn through, what, like 3/4 of my fuel? Something like that. So I'm going to be burning for about 30 seconds. Although, again, while it's most optimal at periapsis, I'm so far out that it doesn't matter the same way. And actually, I don't care about the maneuver per se here. What I care about is facing retrograde, getting relatively close to the actual periapsis, and then just doing a full burn. So let's go here. We'll wait, I don't know, I guess we can wait until about 15 seconds to the periapsis, and it should be fine, shouldn't it? We'll start a little sooner. We'll start about 20 seconds left. And just let that get centered again, and go for burn. Okay. And what I can do is watch here until we've got an actual apoapsis, and then try to circularize. This yellow line is really weird. I really don't know what it represents. Maybe it's some sort of connex based on my what I'll be orbiting the sun after. Actually, that's probably exactly what it is. So it means it should disappear as soon as I actually get an orbit going on. It's a hell of a retro burn. Hell of a retro burn. The fuel is just going, going, going. And there's orbit. Okay, so we're going to do a bit less. I'm going to be bringing... So this is going to swap in a second here when we get to the circularization. Actually, right, I want to change my inclination. So let's not keep working on it. It would be nice if you got a marker for the ascending and descending node. Now we can eyeball it based on the moon's orbit. So right around here is where we're going. Tell you what, I'll just... Oh, I don't know if I'm burning normal or anti-normal, so... Well, no, actually, based on this, I know it's anti-normal. Okay. Remove this. All I want to do is warp to there. Hopefully I got the right one. Tell you what, warp a little bit lower. And stop. There we go. We are almost on the equatorial plane. Oh, sorry. Anti-normal. Very important. Get that in there. Okay, and there we go. Just a nice slow burn here. Well, we're really not quite there yet, are we? No. Cancel the burn. Advance a little bit more. Okay, full burn. Actually, it's really not going to take much. And don't I get my orbit info? Where's my inclination is? Oh, it's slightly above 90%. I'm used to thinking of it in terms of like almost but not quite 90. But we do want to get as close to 90 as possible. So there we go. Right, I guess if I'd looked at the inclination numbers, I would have known that anti-normal is what I want. I want to bring this number down to just about 90. It doesn't have to be exactly on. There we go. Because we do have a sweep. Okay, good. Now, what I'll do is I suppose I will advance to the apoapsis. I got 19 days to the next thing. So I'm going to prep. I want to be retrograde when I get to the apoapsis, and we'll bring down our peri to 250k. And then from the peri, we'll bring down the apo. Okay. Still time warping a little bit. Kill that. There we go. Which will let us turn to retrograde. And I'm going to be paying attention to this number. No. This number here. Periapsis. There we go. And bring it down to 250. Woo, that goes really fast. 400. 350. 300. And there we go. Alright. And then we're going to circularize on the other side. And bring us to a complete halt right away. Give us enough time to rotate around. We are 30 seconds-ish. We're really not going to take much. And I'll start with a really slow burn. Since I'm slightly before my parry, technically I'll be dropping my parry a little bit, but that's okay. There we go, 1.6, 1.5. These are millions of meters. It's going to drop real fast. We have the Delta V left. What would be really nice, and it might be possible, I might be able to send a mission that can rendezvous with these guys, pick up the science, and then bring it to the science lab. Mostly this is here for surface scans. I'm so happy this arrived first because it means all our surface scans will be complete before everything else gets involved. And let's hit the brakes. And then just a little bit more gas. And there we go. Boom. Okay. Pretty damn circular. So we have huge batteries on this one instead of some others. Plus, being in a polar orbit, it's only going to be eclipsed for a little while on any given orbit. Plus, only technically when we're on an exact sort of facing of the sun. The rest of the time we might get, full orbits, many full orbits in a row, full sunshine. So we can go ahead anyway and start a multispectral scan. Ooh, suboptimal. Start radar scan. Ideal. What altitude does the multispectral scanner want to be? Kerbal. You can't get that stats here for some reason. It's really annoying. Does this want like 500 meters or something? Or is it because I'm just slightly below 250k? How suboptimal are we talking about here? Big map. Altimetry of DUNA. Well, we're getting some surface information. I think we're probably okay. We got low resolution and multi. We don't have a high resolution scanner at all. Like, we just don't have the tech for it. So I think we're going to be fine. So when we get our next mission, sucks about the solar panels. We are producing enough power. Yeah, we are. Good. By the time the next object that's in here, is that the moon? Or like Ike? Yeah, there it is. I guess we could take a look at DUNA. I mean, good God, it's our first time here. Spending too much attention, like, trying to set things up and not enough time looking. So, apparently, one of the visual mods we have is also adding an aurora to DUNA, which I suppose makes sense in that it does have an atmosphere. Wow, they have huge polar ice caps. My God. Because you do need an atmosphere to do that. Now, I don't know how rich of an atmosphere it is. I don't know if Mars in real life, does it have, let's just kill the rotation. There we go. And turn that off. Preserve power. Does Mars get auroras? I have no idea. Anyway, the next thing to do will be DUNA Explorer Delta, which is our manned ship, our primary... this is going to be the thing that will eventually be our lander. Now... oh, shoot. What did I change? I gotta change to beta. I changed my the height of my space station plans from 250 to what? To 100? What am I targeting here? 100 meters. Okay. So that means that over here, we're actually going to have to make an adjustment to our path. Oh, man, that's right. To try to get to 100 meters instead. And the earlier we do it, the less fuel we use. So that's pretty relevant. Show me DUNA. Right over there. No, let me... Are you going to do the thing where I can't set my target over here? You are, aren't you? I can set as target, but yeah, it won't let me. There you go, set as target. think it's doing the wrong thing, but let me focus on it anyway. Okay, so this is our maneuver here. We gotta kill this. Because right now our DUNA periapsis is 415. So what we're doing is burning radial, anti-radial. Anti-radial. No, I keep thinking it's going to be anti-radial, but it's not, is it? How's my engine? Is it derated still? It is. Good. Yeah, it's the wrong way. Just moved 1,000 meters. Ain't no thing. Now I'm rotating again, so it's deceptive that because the numbers are switching because of, I don't know, center of mass or something. But I'm going to try to bring it down to about 100. There we go. Good. And I should do that for delta, beta... Wait, gamma. Let me come back to delta. So gamma is my science module, and the second part of my space station. We have to make sure that it is also going to be coming within 100 kilometers. I guess I never made much of an adjustment on this one. So let's do that now. Down, down, down. Well, like that curved path there from the moon encounter. That's cool. And there we are. So basically, all of my orbital satellites are going to end up with the periapsis here. So that'll make it easy to plan some of the maneuvers for encounter. Hopefully. Anyway, let's switch back to delta. It'd be a little bit more convenient if beta got there first, because I could sort of arrange some of the encounters. So for delta, for example, I'm just going to do the minimum retro to technically get into orbit, because most likely I'm going to want an eccentric orbit so that I can arrange my rendezvous with the space station. Focus view. All these scene changes is likely to drop to a crash. You know what? It's a good time. Oh, I got to put a cut in this first of all, but I was going to say it'd be a great time to do a save over here so that if we do get a crash, we're not, you know, we haven't lost a million bajillion things. So I do have to put a cut in this video. Sorry, this is like, you know, sort of meticulous little orbit planning, but if this works out, it's going to be awesome. I suppose next time we will be getting everyone into orbit and then working on docking our station in DUNA orbit. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.